In the name of Allah, the Merciful, the Beneficent. Now with today's main headlines. Lebanon's economy suffers $20 billion loss amid ongoing war, minister says. UK considers social media ban for kids under 16 amid growing online safety concerns. UN warns of escalating humanitarian needs in Afghanistan following Herat earthquakes. WHO approves second Mpox vaccine from Japan amid ongoing outbreaks. Assalamu alaikum dear viewers, this is Hussein Ali and you are watching Shia Waves live from London only on Imam Hussein TV 3. Lebanon's economy has incurred a $20 billion loss due to the ongoing war, Lebanese Economy Minister Amin Salam announced on Tuesday. The Lebanese minister cited widespread infrastructure damage and the loss of over 500,000 jobs. Speaking in a televised interview, Salam noted that US envoy Amos Hochstein recently extended his visit to Lebanon to mediate de-escalation efforts, signaling American interest in achieving a resolution. The UN has warned that the conflict could further cripple Lebanon's already struggling economy, predicting a 9.2% drop in the GDP in 2024 if hostilities persist. Standard & Poor's reported that rising tensions have severely diminished Lebanon's economic recovery prospects. A World Bank assessment estimated infrastructure damages at $3.4 billion and total economic losses at $5.1 billion since October. The war has reduced Lebanon's 2024 growth forecast by 6.6%, with significant impacts on housing, trade and agriculture. The UK government is contemplating a ban on social media for children under 16. Speaking on BBC Radio 4's Today programme, Kyle emphasised the government's commitment to online safety, stating he would do what it takes to protect young people from online harm. This potential ban is part of a broader initiative related to the Online Safety Act, which is set to enhance regulatory powers for Ofcom, the UK's communications regulator. The OSA will require tech companies to implement age verification systems and take responsibility for harmful content on their platforms. The Molly Rose Foundation, an organisation focused on online safety, has expressed support for the stricter regulations. The discussions around this ban reflect a growing global trend, with other countries, such as Australia, also considering similar restrictions on social media usage among minors. The UK government aims to gather more evidence on the impact of technology on youth before finalising any policies. The UN reports that over 275,000 people in Herat province, Afghanistan, urgently need aid following devastating earthquakes in October 2023. More details in the following report.
The United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, OCHA, has reported that over 275,000 people in the Herat province urgently need assistance more than a year after devastating earthquakes struck the region. The earthquakes, which occurred on October the 7th, 11th and 15th of 2023, resulted in 1,480 fatalities and nearly 2,000 injuries, destroying 382 villages and leaving entire communities without homes, schools or essential infrastructure. As winter approaches, 25,000 families remain with adequate shelter, intensifying humanitarian concerns. Despite the mobilisation of humanitarian organisations and approximately $14.7 million in aid from the Afghanistan Humanitarian Fund and the UN Central Emergency Response Fund, OCHA indicates that resources are insufficient to meet growing needs. The humanitarian crisis extends beyond Herat, with Afghanistan facing a $2.9 billion funding gap in its humanitarian needs and response plan. This shortfall threatens critical services in healthcare, nutrition, and sanitation, affecting 3.7 million people without access to essential medical care. The Taliban's restrictive policies further complicate relief efforts, impacting women's participation in humanitarian operations. Additionally, natural disasters such as flash floods affecting over 18,900 people and the return of over 1.1 million Afghan migrants from Iran and Pakistan have strained resources. OCHA emphasises the urgent need for international support to address the funding shortfall and ensure aid reaches vulnerable populations. It is worth mentioning that Imam Hussein Foundation and several Shirazi-affiliated centres have continually provided relief aid and facilities to the needy in the nation, empowered by efforts of the Shia community worldwide. This is Aruj Fatima for Shia Waves.
Let's take a look back at today's main headlines. Lebanon's economy suffers $20 billion loss amid ongoing war, minister says. UK considers social media ban for kids under 16 amid growing online safety concerns. UN warns of escalating humanitarian needs in Afghanistan following Herat earthquakes. Also tonight, Grand Ayatollah Shirazi discusses taqiyya in relation to murder during daily scholarly session. The World Health Organization has approved the LC16M8 Mpox vaccine produced by Japan's KM Biologics, marking a significant step in combating the Mpox outbreak, which has affected over 39,000 individuals in the Democratic Republic of Congo alone. This approval comes after the WHO declared Mpox a public health emergency of international concern in August 2024. Japan has pledged to donate 3.05 million doses of the LC16M8 vaccine, along with specialized inoculation needles, to the DRC, representing the largest single donation to date in response to the crisis. The WHO emphasized that this decision will enhance access to vaccines in regions experiencing surges in Mpox cases, which have spread across 80 countries globally. Earlier, the WHO had approved the modified Vaccinia Ankara Bavarian Nordic vaccine for individuals aged 12 and older, highlighting the ongoing efforts to curb the virus's spread. And now we continue with some short news. A suspected Israeli airstrike on residential buildings in the ancient Syrian city of Palmyra killed 36 people and injured over 50 others, according to a statement by the Syrian army reported by state media yesterday. The attack also caused significant material damage. The Syrian military claimed it intercepted 15 drones attempting to target its bases in 3 cities over the past few days, though it did not specify who was responsible. Tensions in the region have escalated since October 7 and the subsequent conflicts that spread to Lebanon. Researchers have developed a modified version of darobactin, an antibacterial compound which shows effectiveness against drug-resistant bacteria like E. coli in animal trials. This advancement comes amid rising concerns over antibiotic resistance, as many current treatments have become less effective. In trials, the modified darobactin, known as D22, demonstrated significant antibacterial activity. In zebrafish embryos, it effectively cleared Acinetobacter baumannii infections, and in mice, it limited Pseudomonas aeruginosa growth. Notably, multiple doses of D22 completely eradicated E. coli in severe abdominal infections. The research coincides with the World Health Organization's World Antimicrobial Resistance Awareness Week, emphasizing the critical nature of developing new treatments. The findings suggest D22 could be a promising candidate for future clinical trials, potentially offering a novel approach to combat antimicrobial resistance. On Wednesday, November 20th, Pakistan witnessed yet another security threat. A suicide bombing and gun attack at a military outpost in Banu, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, resulted in the deaths of at least 12 soldiers with several others injured, including 2 critically. The attack, attributed to the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, underscores the escalating violence which has claimed over 1,100 lives this year, primarily among security personnel. Islamabad has persistently urged the Islamist Taliban government in Kabul, which is not recognized by any country, to prevent TTP and other anti-Pakistan groups from using Afghan soil for cross-border terrorism. Taliban authorities in Afghanistan deny the allegations, saying no foreign militant groups are present in the country. In parallel, Pakistan's High Commissioner for Refugees, Mohammed Abbas Khan, proposed an international conference aimed at facilitating the resettlement of Afghan refugees. Currently, around 600,000 Afghan applicants are registered with the UNHCR in Pakistan, yet only 8,000 are expected to be resettled this year. Khan emphasized Afghanistan's limited capacity to absorb returning refugees, calling for global cooperation to address these pressing humanitarian needs. A survey conducted by the California chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations and the Center for the Prevention of Hate and Bullying indicates that approximately 50% of Muslim college students in California have experienced harassment or discrimination on campus. The report, based on responses from 720 students at 87 colleges and universities, reveals a 10% increase in reported Islamophobia since 2020. The survey highlights that recent geopolitical events, particularly the Hamas-led attacks on October 7, 2023, and the subsequent conflict in Gaza, have intensified feelings of vulnerability among Muslim students. The report notes a rise in anti-Palestinian sentiment and anti-Arab racism, contributing to an environment where Muslim students feel increasingly targeted and unsupported. An Islamic arts exhibition opened in Lahore, Pakistan, at the renowned Al-Hamra Hall in Punjab, coinciding with World Islamic Art Day. The event features works by prominent artists, including Lahore Calligraphers Association President Irfan Qureshi, whose pieces captivated visitors. Speaking at the opening ceremony emphasized the role of Islamic art in fostering cultural unity, highlighting its shared aesthetic values across Muslim societies. World Islamic Art Day, celebrated annually on November 18, was established by UNESCO in 2019 to recognize Islamic art's contribution to global cultural heritage. According to participants, the exhibition serves as a platform to showcase Islamic art and its potential to bridge diverse cultures. The daily scholarly session of Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sadiq al-Husseini al-Shirazi was held on Tuesday, the 9th of Jamad al-Awwal, in his honorable residence in Qom. Regarding international murder, Grand Ayatollah Shirazi stated, "In cases of international murder, if the perpetrator is rational and has the capacity to choose, they are considered the murderer, while the one who ordered the murder is deemed the instigator." His Eminence further explains that the act of murder is realized through the presence of the perpetrator, and in all instances, the act's realization is a prerequisite. Let us watch the statements of Grand Ayatollah Shirazi.
بله نسبت به مثل حضرت سید الشهدا صلوات الله علیه حسب روایات هم شمر قاتله، هم ابن سعد قاتله، هم ابن زیاد قاتله، هم یزید قاتله. این همشون قاتل حساب میشه. نمیگن عامر کشته، میگن اون امر کرده این کشته. در غیر معصوم نه، مباشر همیشه مباشره، مگر مباشر حیوان باشه یا انسان غیر عاقل باشه، بچه باشه، مجنون باشه، وقت اون عامر قاتل میتونه باشه.
We have reached the end of today's news. Let's take a look at their main headlines for this evening. Lebanon's economy suffers $20 billion loss amid ongoing war, minister says. UK considers social media ban for kids under 16 amid growing online safety concerns. UN warns of escalating humanitarian needs in Afghanistan following Herat earthquakes. WHO approves second Mpox vaccine from Japan amid ongoing outbreaks. Grand Ayatollah Shirazi discusses taqiyya in relation to murder during daily scholarly session. You can view the latest news on our website, or you can send news of your city or country to be published on our news agency. Contact us on the numbers at the bottom of your screen. Thank you all for watching. We pray to Allah the Almighty to hasten the reappearance of the master of our time. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
شهادت پیغمبر اسلام را قرآن کریم تعبیر کرده به انقلاب در اسلام. اما بعد از شهادت پیغمبر اسلام وارونه شد، منقلب شد، انقلاب کامل. انقلبتم علی اعقابکم. اول کشته سیاسی بعد از پیغمبر خدا شخص حضرت زهرا سلام الله علیها. حضرت زهرا شمشیر برداشته بودن، جنگ کرده بودن با اینا، حرف زدن. مگه جواب حرف کشتنه؟ حضرت زهرا حرف زدن، خطبه خود شما هم خطبه بخورید، شما هم حرف بزنید. اسلام یعنی پیغمبر خدا، چیز دیگه اسمش اسلام نیست.
The sun sets and is silent. There is no one that's patient. As hearts break for this moment, the one who sees Ali aches. Named Haydar by his mother, killed 35 at Badr and raised the gate of Khaybar. When finding her rib, he shakes. He sits curled up and